Did you start traveling because of music?
Peru really exposed me to like a whole amazing world of music.
How many countries have you traveled to now?
I actually kind of got, well, I guess arrested would be the word.
What's your budget you would set aside to move to or travel to another country? Yeah?
Thali, definitely.
What about India really got to your heart?
Pani Puri was crazy. I was just telling my dad about that.
Was he badly injured?
And we actually opened for the OCs from California.
When you wake up in the morning, damn, I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Because I was playing with two super hot musicians as well.
What really is Cyborg Jake?
I want people to be happy. I want happiness.
Is it easier to get gigs?
You have to do a lot of like prep work and organizing, and that can be super exhausting.
Do the technicalities of music matter more to you?
No. Oh no. I felt like it was like the closest I'd ever been to weightlessness. It's a really good way to like learn things and do things. I remember hearing Chaya, R.D. Berman and stuff, like an ADHD Leo musician, right? So that's triple trouble.
Pleasure to have you on the Unspoken.
Yeah.
I was literally looking forward to this.
Absolutely, man.
So I'm really glad you're here. You finally made it.
I remember our first discussion about it in Arambol, man.
What was your views when you heard about it the first time?
When I heard about it, I was into it. I thought, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, finally making it happen.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, is that going to happen? Well, now I came to Mumbai and so it's happening.
I'm so glad that you made it because it's part of your journey that I was looking to cover with the Unspoken. Now, you've been doing a lot of things. You've been traveling, you've been playing at various places as a musician, you've been a bassist, you've been in a band as well. So I want to talk about all of those things, but before we get into all of that, let's just take a sneak peek towards your childhood. What were you like as a child?
Oh, what was I like as a child? Yeah, well, that's a good question. I think I was a little bit introverted as a child. I mean, I had my friends and stuff, but I wasn't super like exploding with charisma. That happened a bit later. I was about like 16, you know what I mean? Something happened, I don't know. I think it's the introduction of music and more hanging out. And as a child, I was into stuff, you know. I was like into comic books and drawing and, you know, the Chicago Bulls. I grew up in Chicago, so.
You're a big Michael Jordan fan?
Yeah, of course. I saw Jordan play twice, you know. I was
That's amazing.
Like an 8-year-old kid or something, you know.
So are you also a fan of
basketball
NBA?
Was king. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Wow, are you still following NBA?
No, not at all, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not following any sport at the moment.
Okay, so how early on in your childhood did you get hooked onto music? I mean, what was it that got you intrigued or got you connected to music?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things growing up. Like my mother and father played guitar, so they were playing at church and in their like group and stuff. So I was always exposed to music. You know what I mean? My dad is a good finger picker, Dave Canelos.
Wow.
Hey, Dad. He's excited. I talked to him about this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hi, Jake's dad.
So he's written a lot of songs, you know what I mean? He's a good finger picker. He's playing kind of like country, gospel, blues and stuff. And Mom plays guitar as well. She has a 12-string. Hey, Mom.
Wow. Hey, so Jake's mom.
They'll be enjoying this, yeah. So that was an early introduction. Also just listening to music coming up, listening to the oldies station we had in the States. So that's where, you know, I was listening to like the Beatles like the first time and like, you know, the Stones and the Zombies and, you know,
Cranberries.
Yeah, and soul music like the, you know, Motown records, Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson and James Brown were always around, you know what I mean? So it was always there. But I really got into music when I was about 15, 16. 16 actually was like the magic year for me because I got into everything. I got really into like ska. And then also punk rock at that time in high school, like was really into like old school punk rock. And there was lots of gigs, going to different gigs. So I'd say at that time it really became something like really meaningful for me, something that I felt like a part of. And something that was all of a sudden supplying some level of, I don't know what, perceived identity. You know what I mean?
So what's the very first track that you have learned as a musician? Or what was the first song you wrote or you covered by another artist?
David Bowie songs.
I'm hoping that you're going to play something for us today on the podcast.
Yeah, man, definitely.
We'll definitely make that happen. Since you mentioned that music really hit you when you were 15, did you start traveling because of music?
I mean, I traveled a bit when I was a kid, but in the US, although we did go to Europe when I was like 16, which had some kind of influence with the family. So I was fortunate enough to do that for like 1 month. And I think that put the kind of bug in my head. So once I got older, which was not until like 24, then I finally pretty much left the US.
Okay.
And why on earth did I do that? Yeah, it's, people are confused by that around the world. Yeah, because I wanted to step out into the unknown. You know what I mean? The greater universe. You know what I mean? So I mean, the U.S. is great and all, but I don't know. At that point, I just left. So I moved to Peru when I was 24. Did music direct me so much? No, not. I mean, at that time, I didn't even bring my guitar for some reason. But Peru really exposed me to like a whole amazing world of music. Especially cumbia. I got really deep into old school cumbia, like the old school psychedelic cumbia from the 70s Peru, from like, you know, the northern jungle, Iquitos, with like reverby guitars. So I got into that, and then also like festejo music, like Afro-Peruvian music, in Creole, musica criolla from like the coast, like hot, like kind of Spanish guitars. So yeah, plus like I got into like salsa and like other genres, merengue, especially cumbia when I was there, and everyone was dancing.
So the all of it comes when you were 24 from Peru. That's where you got connected with music a whole lot better.
With Latin music.
With Latin.
Yeah, I mean other stuff I was like pretty well aware of, you know, of like the old school groovy, like, you know, American genres and stuff, you know what I mean?
And how many countries have you traveled till now?
40. I believe India is my 40th.
40 countries. 40th. Wow, that is a big number.
Yeah, I've been to almost as many countries as years I have in my life. So there we go.
What was your biggest challenge when it came to traveling to these 40 countries that you've been to?
Maybe just budgeting, you know, money. And traveling around, you have issues like going overnight on the bus and everything. You get tired. Sometimes you think, oh my God, man, I'm totally unstable. I'm just moving all the time. That stuff I can deal with. I think more the challenge was like sometimes thinking like maybe I'm having too much fun. I got to get a bit like back on track with the work stuff.
I'm sure you would have a set budget in your mind before you travel to any other country. So how much of a dent is it on the pocket? I mean, what's your budget you would set aside to move to or travel to another country?
So I'm just trying to keep things like reasonable. Now, India for me was a good option right now because I'm just teaching English online. I've got my hours, but you know, to be honest, it's not the most regular of jobs. It's not like having a formal teaching job like for university I had before. So now that I'm in India, I mean, what would my budget be? That's a good question. Ideally, like 15, 20 bucks a day, which is doable here. Yeah, including rent and food.
I think 15, 20 bucks US, not Indian.
Oh no, US. Yeah, bucks.
You're not getting anywhere.
No, I'm not getting that. No, not for 20 rupees. Nothing. No.
So we have 15, 20 US dollars for a day. You think that's sufficient for India?
It can be, yeah.
It can be if you use it wisely.
Yeah. I mean, if you're paying like between 500 and 1,000 for rent, and if you're in Goa drinking like Goa Kingfishers, you get a nice price. But
absolutely.
But not the Mumbai Kingfishers. Those ones are a little bit steeper, right?
Yeah. Of course they are. So what's your fondest memory from the time that you've been in India? I mean, what about India really got to your heart?
Oh, yeah. What got to me? Wow. That's a really good question. Why say the food and the people? You know what I mean? Well, the people got to my heart. The food got to my stomach, I guess.
Yeah. So I take it you love the Indian masala.
I do. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what's your go-to food like when you're hungry?
Go to like Indian food?
Yeah.
Thali, definitely.
Thali.
Yeah, if I'm really hungry.
That's amazing.
That's number one for me because thali is different every time with the side dishes.
Absolutely.
It's just it's a wild ride, man. I mean, you're always gonna have your rice, but then the sides are gonna change.
They will.
I like the fish. I like the fried.
The flavor
fish,
too. I believe different masalas every time.
Different masalas every time.
Amazing. Do you specifically like any Indian delicacies?
Yeah, well, the mango pickle I like.
The mango pickle.
Yeah. Maybe my number one right now. Delicacies, man. Yesterday on the street, man, you gave me a delicacy. What was this little like?
Oh yeah, that was pani puri.
Yeah, chutney filled ball.
That's made out of tamarind. The water's made out of tamarind. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That was like one of the most delicious things I've ever had. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that too.
Pani puri?
Yeah, it's called pani puri.
Pani puri was crazy. I was just telling my dad about that. Yeah.
And what did your dad have to say about it?
Oh, he wants some. You know, he wanted to try it.
So
He's been watching travel like blogs about India and everything.
So are you going to make some for him once you go back, once you meet him?
I could, Panipuri, if I could figure that out, how to get that crispy shell, you know, and the tamarind, right?
I'm sure you can order them, or you can just buy them off somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Now, with that being said, Jake, I also would like to know, apart from all your travel plans in all the 40 countries that you've been to, ever find yourself in trouble with the cops?
Oh, the cops. Yeah, sure. There's some stuff. I mean, I've had to deal with like shady guys on the street before. The guys trying to rip me off. Oh yeah, I did have to deal with the cops once. Yeah, sure. In Korea. Now this is. Wow. Yeah, that's a story, man. So I actually kind of got, well, I guess arrested would be the word.
What for?
Softly. It was a soft arrest.
What was it for?
I was backing up my boss, Mr. Jong. Hey, Mr. Jong, I haven't talked to you for a while, but in a fight, actually, yeah. So if your boss gets into a fight in a karaoke room, randomly as you're exiting the karaoke room,
yeah, you definitely have to go and support.
You have to get involved, I think.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I came out, and obviously, you know, it was kind of a New Year's karaoke party. We were having a good time singing Michael Jackson duets with him, and worked with a lot of really nice Korean ladies as well, a couple of foreign guys. So we were having a party, and then I was out. You know what I mean? There was definitely, to be honest, quite a bit of drinking going on. And then I came out, yeah, and there was a guy, a really big guy, you know, kind of big blockhead, barrel chest, just pounded my boss in the face and like sent his glasses flying, because he was in a business suit, of course, as well, Mr. Jong. This was in Busan. So then I leapt forward and I kind of tried to like control the guy. But he was a very big guy. I was like kind of riding on his back. I could get only like a half Nelson. He was like slamming me against the wall. The girls were shouting. It was just madness. Then the girls made a perimeter. The police came, and then they took all of it. They took me, my boss, and the secretary. She was really nice, very cute, young me, but she was going wild. She was also fighting with the girl from the karaoke room. I don't even know what happened to this day. I think my boss asked for a discount, and they didn't give it to him. And then I don't know how that turned into a fight, because I just walked into it.
I mean, was he badly injured? Like.
No, his glasses were, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, his glasses were broken. So then we went to the police station, and then there was the three people from the karaoke room they were fighting with, and then me, my boss, and the secretary. They put on two broken pairs of glasses on the table, and they told everyone to sort it out. So they're shouting at each other in Korean, and I was just like, oh crap, man, this is just too much. In the end, they sorted it out. I think he had to give my boss some money for the broken glasses. But that was a little bit wild. That was unexpectedly wild.
So they basically just picked you up to question you about what was happening, right?
Yeah. Because I was trying to get my boss out of there before the police came. But he couldn't move. I mean, he was proper hammered. Wow. Yeah. So I mean, his tie was undone.
Oh, you said something in the midst of all of this that really clicked. You said, "I'm a lover, not a fighter."
Yeah.
I think that's a very wonderful line. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you this: if you're a lover and not a fighter, what kind of a love is it if it's not worth fighting for?
Oh, well, that's true, right? Yeah, it's not funny. Well, one time we had to defend a girl in like Bogota in Colombia because this guy was like roughing her up, and that's when I've never felt like more of a vigilante we kind of got him, you know. But it was messed up. I mean, he was shoving this girl against the wall. It was quite, you know, disturbing, you know.
I respect you for taking a stand, though.
Yeah, thank you.
That's something anybody in your position should have done the exact same thing. If you see a woman that's being harassed, we definitely need to go support that, save her, whatever comes.
You got to do something, yeah, exactly.
You got to, I think you just got to do that as a good human.
Absolutely. So that's the one time that happened, actually, was in Bogota.
And what's the most fun moments that you've had in all these 40 countries that you've been to? Something that makes you go like, when you wake up in the morning, damn, I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Wow, well, that's a better question, isn't it? Playing music, I think in Istanbul, you know what I mean, with my bands, that was some of the most fun I've had, to be honest. You know, like big gigs. Wow. Actually, my 40th, well, it's damn birthday. That was like 2 years ago. It's not that long ago, but we had a big gig on the island on this Burgazada, which is like Burgaz Island. Ada means island in Turkish. That was a great gig. That was super fun. We had a big beach party, and then we went over to a venue. Had maybe like 40 friends out and stuff, and yeah, it was good fun. Yeah.
Which places did you enjoy playing the most?
Well, Istanbul, because I was living in Istanbul for a long time. So I had lots of different bands there. So, I mean, I was in Turkey about 10 years, so I didn't speak Turkish. Over there, yeah, I had different bands, different styles. The last band was Astral Tweaks. Shout out to Astral Tweaks. Hey guys.
Astral Tweaks.
Unfortunately, that went defunct like 2 years ago, but we had a good funky time with that. I'd say that was the highlight of my musical journey in Istanbul, because I was actually like then the front man. I was playing bass, and me and my buddy Luke made some super nice recordings in his home studio. Hey Luke.
Hey Luke.
Yeah.
So
so I'd say that was definitely the highlight of it. I mean, other highlights would be playing with the Young Shaven, my other band. I wasn't the front man in that. My buddy Archie was. I was just playing bass. But we had some very cool gigs with that band. We actually opened for the OCs from California. If you know the OCs, it's like pretty well-known psychedelic garage rock band, you know, Absolutely. Like really balls to the wall. They had the 2 drummers when we played with them. That was a big highlight.
So what do you
opened
prefer?
For them. Yeah.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer being the front man, or do you enjoy being a bassist more?
I like being a frontman bassist now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you like both?
It took a while to get to the point where I could be a frontman. So now I'm used to putting it together.
Wow. So you mentioned that it was not until 2 years ago that you're no longer with the band. Right?
Yeah.
So have you been playing solo since?
Well, yeah, kind of. You know what I mean? That was Astral Tweaks, and then last year I lived in Tbilisi in Georgia, and I made another project, and that was actually called Cyborg Jake of Astral Tweaks, because unfortunately I left Istanbul. But that reincarnation of it, or that avatar even of the band, of the character Cyborg Jake, was quite nice as well, because I was playing with 2 super hot musicians as well, with Alex on guitar and Ivan on drums. Ivan was also living in Goa for a while, playing in a reggae band. He kind of put me onto Goa.
That's nice.
Ivan did, yeah. Now he's building a dub sound system. Wow. He's in Tbilisi.
Is he also
what up,
planning
Vanya?
to come?
Yeah, what's up?
Is he also planning to come to India sometime soon?
I think he would come back. He loves it, you know. Wow. I guess he was down there like 8 months or something. Then he went up there. So really great drummer.
Was Ivan the one that recommended India to you?
Yeah, he was one of the people, yeah. And then I knew some like random Turkish friends had been here before, to Goa specifically.
So you go by the stage name Cyborg Jake?
Cyborg Jake, yeah.
So how did Cyborg Jake, the character, come into existence? So what brought that character to life?
That's a great question. What happened was, like, me and Luke made these Astral Tweaks recordings. It was about the end of the pandemic, and we go over for like about 2 months specifically, and we knock out these recordings. Our buddy Jan loved it and offered to do an animation, and he started drawing some characters. So one of the characters was like of me, and then that he was actually calling that Cyborg Jake, is that character.
So that's how.
So then I just kind of accepted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What really is Cyborg Jake? I mean, what is the message that you're trying to send to all the people that love you, that listen to your music? What does Cyborg Jake really mean?
What does it mean? Yeah, well, I mean, it was a stage alias. I mean, my original name was Astral Tweaks, but then that became the band name. And then I needed like a moniker, personal name, a personal name. So Cyborg Jake, I mean, it means me in a technologically enhanced state, or a musically enhanced state.
Wow.
Where the form is
digital
flowing.
guy living in an
The
analog
form
world.
is flowing out of me. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I think it's the other way around. An analog guy living in a digital world.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of like one of the themes of the Esoteric Space Opera, which never actually really panned out, but I was kind of creating like a mythology for it and like a whole history. And it would be like pretty much like life like intersects with fantasy. So it starts kind of straight, you know, like normal life, this and that, but then something happens and then you step into, well, like the astral plane.
Wow. So what are you trying to achieve with your music? I mean, what are you trying to bring to your audience or to your family, your fans? I mean, what's the impact that you're trying to leave them with? Because it often happens that, you know, when you're out, when you're listening to music, music has ways of taking you. Some people are happy, some people are sad, some people are celebrating, while some people are just there for, you know, because it's something new. I want to explore something new. So everybody's come with a different mind, a different feeling. What's your feeling when you pick up the guitar and when you're singing? What is it that you bring to everybody? I mean, what's the end emotion that you want to put to everybody before they leave?
Well, I want people to be happy. I want happiness. Because I want people to have fun when they hear my music. That sounds, of course, basic, but yeah, happiness, you know. And it makes me happy if people enjoy my music tremendously, because I'm like concerned with original music, you know. So and that means a lot if people like something that I've made, you know, and they care about it. I think sometimes original music is confusing for some people these days. Everyone's so used to covers. So that makes me extra happy, you know, if they enjoy something that I've made, and it might be a little bit different, it might be a little outside of the box, but if they feel something from it, that's the best feeling I could have.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. There are certain gigs, certain events that have happened that I have personally witnessed where maybe I was not feeling it, or maybe I didn't feel like I wanted to go. But when I went there and I heard what people were doing, you know, when that sets in, when music takes you by chance, wow, it's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, that's something special.
Absolutely special.
Definitely.
Wow. So now that you have traveled to so many countries, what are the fun moments that you've had while you were performing in these 40 countries?
Like I mentioned before, it was like playing with the Young Shaven, my kind of like garage indie kind of band. We opened for the OCs, this big like psychedelic garage band from San Francisco. They're friends of my friend Archie. What up, Archie? That was something special because that was a huge gig. That was the biggest gig I've played. Like the most people, it was like sold out. It was incredible, you know, and we're hanging out backstage and everything. That was fabulous. I played a festival in Bulgaria once at this Electric Orpheus festival with my friends Chongi and the Smokers.
Wow.
With Nick Chongi. What up, Chongi? He's also a buddy of mine. We played with his band and Dozen Frogs, some Bulgarian bands, kind of.
Wow.
And that was great. You know, there was camping and everything. It was on a hilltop in a vineyard, and we're looking at the Rodopi Mountains. That was something special. I also mentioned like my birthday party. Actually, it was like my 40th birthday in the island. We played a really special gig. Yeah.
Now, while you're taking the center stage, whether you're the front man or you're the bassist, or as you were growing over the years with music, was there any kind of nervousness? Was there any fear? I mean, how does it feel when you're stepping onto the stage?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think initially maybe there was a little bit, but if you're practiced and you're ready and you're playing with the right guys, that's, for me, there's no problem. Generally, when I finally I get to play, I'm relieved. Because before a gig, like you have to do a lot of like prep work and organizing, and that can be super exhausting. You know what I mean? You got to like make a poster, you got to promote, you got to organize the guys, you got to do a practice, maybe 2 practices.
Like a sound check, yeah.
You got to like send a invite to all your friends on Instagram, and then feel kind of funny because you haven't like talked to them recently, and you know you got to contact all your acquaintances and then have like short conversations with everyone. Now this is all beyond, and then you got to post stuff on Instagram or whatever, you know. So all this is beyond playing music. So then once I finally get on the stage, then I feel like I can just step into the zone. So especially if my guys are like ready and the guys I'm playing with are in the zone, then I feel like I just feel good. I feel zero nervousness.
That's amazing. So do you think your instrument takes over? Like, when your instrument become one, like...
Yeah, definitely. Then you're in the zone, you know. I mean, also I felt a bit nervous, honestly. Like, I played 3 small gigs at like Cookiewala and one at like Hakuna Matata, you know, small places in Arambol. And I was kind of nervous though, because it wasn't because of me. It was because I have like a crappy like pickup situation on my guitar. So I got to get a proper one. I was worried about it feeding back.
But how did that work out for you? Now, since you did a couple of gigs where you said you were nervous.
Oh yeah.
And how did that work out for you? How did
it was fine. It didn't feed back crazy or nothing. It's just I just have like a really crappy. It's like a piezo pickup, so I was a little embarrassed of that. I was worried about the sound quality. But not about my like level of playing or performance so much. Yeah.
What would you have to say to people that have cold feet before they take the center stage or before they are doing something that they really love, but since it's, maybe the first time or it's a huge audience, there's that nervousness that sets in, that, it's big, it's huge. How am I going to do this? Or is it going to be all right? What is your message to people who are trying to be slightly like you, as in be an artist in their own way, but at the same time do the exact same things that you're doing as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just like practice, number one, and then have like a drink or two.
That definitely helps. I can agree with that totally.
Yeah. But yeah, practice. Like,
practice.
Yeah, know what you're doing, and then, build up to the bigger stages, most things start small anyway.
What are your absolute best moments of Arambol? Like you mentioned, you played at Cookiewala, you played at Hakuna Matata. Your overall experience, the best moment that you've ever had in Arambol?
Yeah, I think it was the last time, the day I played at Cookiewala, this is maybe a month ago now. It was like my second to last day. I was going to go travel to Hampi, Gokarna. And I went to Sweet Lake Beach and then the mud baths. You've been to the mud baths?
Oh, yeah.
And like the creek. And I ran into a friend and like a group of people there, and they're like, "Oh my God, you got the guitar? Can you play some stuff?" So I played for like 8 people, like sitting like on that side of the the little rock pool, and everyone was just covered in mud. That was brilliant. That was total magic. And then I went up to the top pool, and it's just full of little frogs and everything. I was with a friend, and then I just did like a back float. I was completely suspended. And it felt like it was like the closest I'd ever been to weightlessness. And then after that, I went over to the Cookiewala and I played the gig. And the last gig I played there was like really good. People were like really responsive, really happy. Everyone was having fun. I had a bunch of friends there.
You want to leave everybody happy at the end.
Everyone was happy, yeah, exactly. And I got some food and drink, from the place. And we passed around the donation box. But really, that was the best crowd. I mean, it was better than like the other 3 times I played. People were like really more in the zone. I think they were really obviously enjoying the music.
Wow,
so
great.
Maybe I think that was my best day in Arambol. Because everything was together, swimming, covered in mud, jungle, beach.
I think one thing adds to another, and you just feel yourself before you even pick your guitar and take the mic to perform for people. So yeah, I totally understand, and I totally can relate to everything that you're saying right now. Although I want to ask you this, as an artist, since you were in a band, and now that you are traveling and also performing all by yourself solo, is it easier to get gigs or is it harder? I mean,
well, that's a good question. I mean, I've only did very small gigs in like Arambol, which was cool because I needed that at least. I think I have a bit more confidence like when I have the band around, because then there's like a couple other guys and we're also kind of pushing each other.
So do you
know what I mean?
Do you think it's easier to approach a record label or an event organizer as a band, or is it easier to approach a curator or a record label as a solo artist?
I think both is doable, but I mean with a band, I guess it's easier because you feel more like a gang. You know what I mean? Like, and you got like the support of your boys.
Yeah, a lot of creative minds also coming together.
Yeah. And you just sound bigger, so I think it feels more confident. I mean, right now I just have my acoustic, which is cool.
Have you ever messed up while playing with your band and just went for it in the go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I'm not so concerned about that. I mean, usually people don't even notice. If you play through, like, nobody notices, you know? And I think a lot of guys who are just starting out playing and stuff, they're really getting in their own heads, thinking, like, after a gig they messed up.
You ever get a look from one of your band members like, hey, I heard that?
No, not so much. But, because, I mean, everyone messes up a little bit, but usually nobody notices because it's so loud. Everything just kind of masks everything. Unless somebody, like, really messes up, you know, like, well, that also does happen sometimes, but yeah,
that's so
like, stops playing or, like, is playing completely out of key, then you can look over and, like, be like, yo, come on, dude. Mostly it's, like, drummers dropping the beat. I'm always, like, turning around shouting at the drummer, like, yo, pick it up, you know? Come on, you know what I mean? Yeah.
As an artist, what is it that you would not want to do? Because often as an artist, there are a lot of responsibilities. If you're doing it all by yourself as a solo artist, if you're just getting into the scene, and if you're trying to, you know, make your name big, there's a lot of things that you have to do, like promotions, marketing, invites, you know, various kind of collaborations. So as an artist, what do you think you would avoid, or you would not want that to be something that you do? And just focus on your craft. I mean, what is the things that you would not want as an artist?
Well, that would definitely be PR, like we mentioned before, and booking as well, if someone could help with that. Because I had bands and stuff, but we were always, like, managing our own band, and, like, we always needed a better manager to get us, like, better gigs, you know, and generally that wasn't happening. Although I played some bigger gigs, we were just doing our own booking, you know, and then, like I said, the PR stuff, you know, is taking a lot of time, like making the poster, inviting people, putting it up online, and then inviting friends over and over when they've already seen the band. It'd be nice if someone else did that. Yeah.
So you're saying it's easier if you have a PR team to do the marketing for you and have a manager that can bring in the gigs for you rather than you having to personally search for.
Yeah, I've never had that. I mean, we had a few people that were kind of attempting to manage, but I was managing with the other guys, you know what I mean? Like, and the manager, if they get us, you know, a better gig, you know, they can take
Absolutely,
a bigger cut, you know, that's the thing.
That's exactly what happens.
I would be cool with that. I mean, if I still had a proper project or something, you know what I mean, I'd be ready for that and push that more.
That's great. Now, what is the project that you're looking forward to? I mean, what's your next project?
Well, since I'm traveling around, like, I'm a bit loose right now. I just have my acoustic guitar. So when I go north, I'll play some little gigs. Why not? It's all possible. Some cafes or bars in the Himalayas. You know, maybe in Rajasthan even. Why not? Like, it must be somewhere to play in Pushkar.
Okay. Now,
maybe Udaipur. I'll go to Udaipur tonight.
What kind of gigs would you rather prefer? Would you prefer a closed room gig, or would you like an open stage?
Open stage, you know. Closed room gigs are good too, with you know, at friends' apartments, like we had here the other night. But yeah, like more proper, like, amplification and all that is good, microphone and all that.
Absolutely. So by closed room, I meant what if you have a gig in a club or a stage where you have all the equipment, all the sound.
Oh, that's great.
But it's a closed room.
Ah, like inside.
Inside.
That's perfect.
So would you rather prefer doing a gig inside, like in a club, or would you like an open stage where it's like everything's there, you're in nature?
Oh, that's good.
Stage.
Oh yeah, okay, like a outside stage with like amplification. Oh, I prefer that. Yeah, of course. I like playing outside. Yeah.
And why would you prefer the stage outside than it being inside?
Because it's more fresh. You know, it's outside. If it's like in the forest or something, or on the beach, that's always even better, I think. Yeah, especially if the weather's good. You know.
I want to know how music got into your life as a child. You mentioned your dad.
Yeah,
is also a musician. You come from a family where music is kept on a pedestal, which is amazing because you've picked up music as a child from your family. Do the technicalities of music matter more to you, or is it the oomph or the feeling or just expressing yourself? What is it? What exactly is your perspective towards music? Like, how do you take music to be?
Yeah, I mean, what's important to me is originality. So whatever that looks like, whether it's coming from like a different sound, you know what I mean, a unique voice, a unique way of playing an instrument, you know what I mean, some interesting kind of lyrics. If it's original, that's what appeals to me, you know. And I think that's what I strive for.
Now, if one were to learn an instrument, for example, if one wants to become a bassist or a percussionist, do you think that a specific amount of time should be enough for this person to learn a certain instrument?
Maybe. I mean, it depends, you know, how hard someone's going to work at it. Because it's like anything, like learning a language or any skill. The more you do it, the better you're going to get, right? But if you're a complete beginner, it takes a while to get over the hump or the mountain. So
do you think putting a time stamp or putting yourself under that pressure that I have to learn this instrument in an XYZ amount of time, does that help boost your creativity?
No.
Does that put a close cap on your creativity?
I think it would close the cap. I mean, unfortunately, that's a really good way to like learn things and do things. But in my life, it's never that like black and white. Like it's always like a little bit here, a little bit there. You get distracted by something else, and then you come back to it and do a little bit more, and like some more focused study and setting a time frame and working on some self-discipline and this and that. Discipline and like, you know, it's actually really digging into some of the technicality of the thing. It's obviously super beneficial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, discipline is key to everything. I think if you have discipline, consistency is key. I think if you push yourself enough and if you do things right, you're definitely going to reach your goals way faster than you have imagined.
Yeah, or you get more frustrated as well, I don't know.
So have you ever had a phase where you felt like, no, I don't want to do music, or I'm just not feeling it, or this is not my, you know, I should just take a break?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. On that note, how about you play us something that you've composed for yourself?
Well, thank you for asking, Savio.
What are you going to play for us today?
This song is called Street Side Delta, and I composed it, I don't know, some years ago in Istanbul, actually, about a situation on the street.
Wow.
Yeah, there was like I was walking home from work and there was a crowd of people, and taxis were honking a lot. In the street, everything was stopped, so I pushed through the crowd of people and I saw there was like an old man who was lying in the middle of the street with his eyes like wide open. It was quite a disturbing sight, but I kept walking. And then that situation became song lyrics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very deep though.
It's a bit deep, yeah, and it's a bit poetic, so we'll see. Honestly, I think it's the best lyrics I've written. But yeah, it's called Street Side Delta, yeah. Then to shout at beggars' calls. It's sunny days, past street side stalls. People push and people squirm past hazy hips. The sidewalk scorn. Cats upon the wall, watching people fall. Another sunny afternoon. Taxis waiting in line, honking all the time. Fares of life have come too soon. No, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Car bumps, brakes squeak. Bags of groceries scatter on that street. Crowds of phones, others cease to pass. There's a vacant stare, greets the mass. Cats upon the wall, watching people fall. Another sunny afternoon. Taxis waiting in line, honking all the time. Fast of life have come too soon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Flags of sadness, flags of grief, hang gingerly up and down that street. Human rivers, the sea of life, streets out Delta, they unite. Cats upon the wall, watching people fall. Another sunny afternoon. Taxis waiting in line, honking all the time. The fares of life will come too soon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, I didn't want that to stop.
Oh, I could have kept going on that forever.
That was amazing. That
Thank
was
you, man.
amazing.
I appreciate it, man.
That
Thank
was
you. That
really,
was
really
Streetside
amazing.
Delta.
You took me to another place altogether.
Oh yeah, man.
Just like you said, you know, you were just walking past the street and you saw an old man in the middle of there with his eyes wide open. I mean, the energy, the aura, the emotion behind the song, it's so beautiful. And I'm so glad that you were able to do this here today. You were able to sing this song on this podcast, because it's definitely something that I take back from this podcast as my fondest memory.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely going to remember that track.
Helps, man. Yeah.
Music is always a getaway. I mean, if it transports you to another place, I think it's another form of love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you again, Jake, for doing that. That was one of the most amazing tracks I've heard in a long, long time. And thank you for sharing the story behind it, because then it becomes a whole lot easier for me to be able to relate, to connect.
Connect, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that you've had a lot of positive feedback and a lot of love, blessings and compliments come from a lot of people that have heard you play this track. How about you go for another one that...
Absolutely, yeah. So that was Streetside Delta.
Yeah, I mean...
The next song, I'll play an Astral Tweak song, again, which is my former band, kind of living in the past here still, which is fine. There's other songs too, but I'm gonna play an Astral Tweaks one. This is Diamonds and Pearls, and on YouTube actually, there is an Astral Tweaks channel still, and there's 3 animations, and this is one of them. So this is Diamonds and Pearls. So animation was made by my buddy Adonis. What up, Adonis? Shout out from Mumbai. Over in Athens, he made a really beautiful animation for this, very psychedelic and very spacey. Yeah. So this is Diamonds and Pearls, and the story was actually inspired by a little escape to the beach I was lucky enough to have during the pandemic, and we had a little beach party down in Kash, actually the southwest of Turkey.
How did you manage to get a beach party in the pandemic?
Well, I snuck out for a while of Istanbul and went south, and I was staying with my buddy Ray. What up, Ray? In the mountains in his mountain house for about like almost 2 months actually. I was doing some work with him, and then we went down, and we'd come down for the mountains, and we met some chicks, you know what I mean, that Ray knew, and we've been up in the mountains, so we hadn't even like seen women for a while, you know what I mean, and then magic kind of happened on the beach because it was a real beach party, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a pretty spacey beach party, if you know what I mean. And sure, yeah, this song was somehow inspired by that situation, and hanging out with Sheer on the beach, whose name means poem, actually. I don't believe she's actually heard this song, but somehow she inspired it. Anyway, here we go. All right, it's called Diamonds and Pearls. All right, here we go. And it's a little kind of dubby, rock steady reggae kind of thing. I know that you know that you're nothing but trouble. I know that you know that you hit it on the double. I know that you know that you got me in a struggle. I know that you know that you bought me with your bubble. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. I know that you know that you're nothing but trouble. I know that you know that you hit it on the double. I know that you know that you got me in a struggle. I know that you know that you bought me with your bubble. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Maverick green and a black coat seat. The sun is beating down on you and me. The sounds are bumping out the magic box. Life we living on without a top. Maverick green and a black coat seat. The sun is beating down on you and me. The sounds are bumping out the magic box. Life we living on without a top. I know that you know that you're nothing but trouble. I know that you know that you hit it on the double. I know that you know that you got me in a struggle. I know that you know that you bought me with your bubble. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Take what you've got and leave the rest for the taking. When opportunity knocks, you know to do the speaking. I know that you know that you're nothing but trouble. I know that you know that you hit it on the double. I know that you know that you got me in a struggle. I know that you know that you popped me with your bubble. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Diamonds and pearls, oh, they're worthy of her. Diamonds and pearls are just candy for this guy. Diamonds and pearls, 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 diamonds and pearls. Woo!
That was simply just amazing.
Wow. Check out the animation on YouTube. Astral Tweaks, Diamonds and Pearls. Animation by Adonis.
I would like to ask you, when did you first hear about India, or how do you feel connected to India?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think my earliest knowledge of India was like having Indian food as a kid. There was a neighborhood called like Divan Avenue, and it's like an Indian and Pakistani neighborhood. So there's like lots of Indian restaurants, supermarkets. So I remember going over there to eat Indian food with like my family, and then a friend of the family was like Indian as well. So I had some knowledge. I had like an Indian classmate even, but really feeling like kind of connected to the culture was actually like there was like a small TV station occasionally would come on, like Channel 20, and occasionally Channel 20 would show like Bollywood videos and stuff. So like I remember hearing Chaya Chaya, seeing the video, which blew my mind, you know, when I was I don't know what, maybe 13 years old or something. And then like me and my sister would like dance to the Bollywood videos if we were lucky enough to see them, you know. And sometimes the Bollywood videos were there, you know.
Wow,
so just on TV, because it was Chicago. Chicago's quite mixed, so
absolutely.
There's an Indian population.
To have Chaya Chaya play in Chicago,
yeah, on TV
when you were 14 years old,
yeah,
that's huge. And how did you feel when you first heard the track Chaya Chaya?
I felt great. I mean, it was awesome. You know what I mean? It's got good energy. Like, it makes you want to dance. You know what I mean? And the music video was like mind blowing. Everyone's dancing on top of the train.
Oh, do you know the actor in the music video?
Yeah. Khan, what's his shit?
Yeah, Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan, yeah. I remember kind of dancing, yeah. Because then sometimes the other Bollywood would come on. You know, we danced to that.
What Bollywood genre do you really like listening to? Do you listen to Bollywood songs that are more recent, or?
No, I mean, I'm actually, my knowledge of like Indian music is kind of like stuck in the 70s, which is cool. So like the funky disco Bollywood I love. Yeah, well, and I know that from like some compilations of like, you know, obscure recordings and whatnot.
70s music.
Like R.D. Burman and stuff, I love that.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Mohammed Rafi too, I believe.
Yeah, I like Mohammed Rafi, yeah.
Yep. It's amazing how widespread music is. As a 14-year-old, if you're able to remember Mohammed Rafi, R.D. Burman, Shah Rukh Khan, he's the king of Bollywood.
Shah Rukh Khan is, he's number one.
Absolutely, wow. So I think your journey with India has been long connected.
Long connected, yeah. And I've always liked the food. And then since I've traveled a lot, I hadn't been to India. So I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I thought, I should go to India right now, you know.
It's very surprising though. I didn't expect Chicago to have a lot of Indian food. Like you said, there was like a India-Pakistan border, and you had
it's a neighborhood, a
neighborhood that had a lot of Indians too.
Oh yeah. It was mixed, like Indians and Pakistanis. Yeah.
Well, okay, and what do you think about the culture here in India? Since you've spent time here, how do you think the culture of India is, and what do you make of it? What do you take back from India?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been blown away by like the diversity of it and the diversity of regions. You know, I was in Goa for a while, and I went to Karnataka, Hampi, Gokarna. Even that was very different, you know, like just
different cultures, different places.
Yeah, you could feel a difference kind of in the culture, obviously in language as well. You know what I mean? But even like just like, you know, guys in like Gokarna were like wearing like lungis and stuff all of a sudden. Nobody in Goa is like wearing a lungi, it seems.
So that's culture for Karnataka.
That's Karnataka culture, yeah.
Gokarna is in Karnataka.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the lungis.
So I'm excited.
Have you ever worn one?
Yeah, I bought a lungi, for the beach.
Oh wow. I want to talk more about your journey as a musician, as a person. You know, how it went from being a child to where you are today. What are the obstacles or the challenges that you came across?
As a kid, I struggled with, I don't know, what were labeled as learning disabilities, right? So I had a hard time reading and doing mathematics as a young child. And I grew up thinking that I was quite stupid, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Then I got through that. Obviously, I did learn to read, and I read quite well, you know what I mean? But I think it I don't know, now I guess maybe they call it ADHD, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then it was just like maybe dyslexia, I don't know what it was, but I think it had some kind of effect on me. It wasn't particularly motivating as a kid. And now that I've grown up, I realized that I'm an ADHD Leo musician, right? So that's triple trouble. If you're a Leo and you got ADHD and you're a musician, good luck getting anything done, you know?
You mentioned that right now, as of now, you are doing online classes for English, right?
I am, yeah.
Have you had any other jobs prior to this?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, it would be before I left. Well, when I went back to Chicago, because I went back twice, and like before I left, I mean, I had different jobs. I was like painting houses and doing like laboring, like working with my cousin who's like a contractor. So, you know, doing like laboring jobs, like construction site stuff. And then I had a job for a Lexus dealership, you know, wow. Lexus.
Yeah.
And I was like their online photographer. So I would take photos of the cars like 30 photos of the luxury cars,
Oh, that's
the used
amazing.
cars, and then I would like put them on the internet. You know, I'd load it to the company website, at eBay, all that.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
affiliate marketing.
It was not even actually, because the cars were like directly on display, like pictures of
Oh,
the used
okay.
cars. Yeah, yeah. And then people would come on the website, check it out, or eBay.
Thank you so much, Jake, for sharing everything that you have.
Yeah, thank
It's
you,
been
man.
an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Everybody that's going to be watching this, I'm sure is going to take back something really positive from this. So once
Absolutely.
again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the Unspoken.